Wow. Already got some fingerprints on it in like 5 seconds.
My name's Eric Welander and welcome to Windy Tech, a channel all about apps, gear, and automation in the Apple ecosystem. Today I want to talk about the iPad Pro that just came out and that I just got in the mail. I unboxed it and have been using it for about a day and wanted to record a quick first impressions video. I love iPads. It's what inspired me to develop my app Best Photos, and I've had phases in my life where I've done a lot more on the iPad and then I go back to the Mac and then I go back to the iPad, and with this new iPad out, I really want to use it more and really get a sense of the power and see as a developer what I can build for it, both in terms of automations but then also applications as well. So personally, as a developer, I can see right away how fast things are. Simple operations and apps just feel so snappy, and that's partially because of the fast processor. It's also partially, this is my first iPad with the new 120 hertz refresh rate displays that came in the 10.5 and 12.9 last year. And if you haven't used an iPad with that, it is a noticeable difference. Once you use a screen that refreshes at 120 hertz, everything else feels a little bit jittery. And that really comes in handy for simple things like reading, browsing the web, scrolling through something like an email. Very practical and just a very nice aesthetic enhancement. So personally, I got the 11-inch 256 gigabyte cellular space gray iPad. So the 11-inch iPad Pro is basically the same size as the 10.5-inch iPad Pro from last year, which is also pretty close to a 9.7-inch iPad. So a lot of the things you would expect to be able to do with a 9.7-inch iPad or a 10.5-inch iPad obviously carry right over to the 11-inch. For me, someone with longer thumbs and larger hands, it's very easy to type in portrait, which is really nice and something that I wouldn't be able to do on a 12.9-inch. The keyboard, though, is plenty big enough. I've been using it to type a lot and I don't have any issues, and I've actually handed it to a variety of other people in my life who are maybe not as enamored with the new iPad and they try the keyboard and they think it's fine too. So in the past, one of the things I really love using the pencil for is navigating around the interface. Obviously you can still use your fingers, but the pencil is a little bit more precise, and that's particularly useful, I find, when I'm on a big desktop website in Safari. You can be able to precisely tap on a specific link, a specific area with the pencil in an easier way than you could, say, with your finger. One of the challenges, though, with using the pencil for navigation is you can't, by default, go swipe up on the home indicator. So you can't make the app close or sort of pull up the dock or go to the home screen without using your finger. I totally get why this is, because you wouldn't want to be drawing in an app and then all of a sudden close the app and or sort of go to the app switcher or pull up the dock. Like, that wouldn't make sense. So I get why they do this, but if you're like me and you like using the pencil for navigation, it's something to keep in mind that you'll always have to have your finger there to swipe up. If you wanted to use the Apple Pencil to go home, you can simply add the assistive control in accessibility settings and then tap that with your pencil and then tap home, and then it would allow you to go home. So if you're really keen on being able to use the pencil to navigate all over, you can turn that on. Personally, I find it kind of clutters up the screen. I don't really like it, but I know it's a very common accessibility feature people like to turn on. So it's there and it works with the pencil if you need it to. That said, this new location for the pencil is fantastic. It's so nice to have the pencil with me all the time. It's right there on the iPad. I do kind of feel like, though, I'm leaning towards wanting some kind of a pouch to put the whole thing in, so that way I can shove the whole thing into a bag or something, just because otherwise I feel like if I put it in too tight of a space in a bag or something, or if it just gets knocked going in and out of a bag, I'm going to lose the pencil. It's pretty securely on there, but still, like, if you're just, pulling the iPad out of a bag, it's probably going to knock the pencil. So I'm leaning towards wanting some kind of a pouch or something to keep all of that in, to keep it all together when I travel with it. So Face ID is really fantastic. It's really fast, just as fast as it is on any of the iPhone 10, 10R, 10S models. So if you're used to it there or familiar with it, it's going to be the same thing here. One thing to keep in mind, though, is when you're using it in landscape, you can more accidentally cover the camera or get between the camera and your face by just having your hand up, especially if you're using your iPad on your lap. That said, though, it does give you very clear instructions when you're sort of blocking the camera. It'll put an arrow there, and most of the time that suggestion reminds me, oh yeah, my hand's there. I need to move it. One of the other nice things about Face ID is as you take your iPad out and you put it on the keyboard, it will oftentimes just see your face and unlock the iPad as you're sort of setting it up, which is just one less step to do. You don't have to, press your finger on the Touch ID anymore. So as far as battery life, yesterday morning, it was at like 99% yesterday morning when I unboxed it, and setting it up from scratch, installing a ton of apps, using it a bunch throughout the day, didn't charge it overnight. So after all of that, and then back now this morning, it's at 35% battery. It's probably safe to say that you could get a full day of use out of it. So the smart keyboard, I've been a big fan of these smart keyboards from Apple. I had one on my 9.7-inch iPad Pro, I had one on my 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and now I have it on the 11-inch iPad Pro. A few things, though, to note. In the older models, you were able to sort of unmount the iPad and then put it flat and it would go completely over the keyboard. That's not the case anymore with these. So you have to sort of use it like this, or then if you want it to go flat, you have to bend the keyboard back around so you have the keyboard. That does help you grip it a little more, and the iPad is smart enough to realize that, the keyboard here, even though I think the smart connector connection is still connected in the back of the iPad, the keyboard, it's smart enough to realize, I think, with the magnets not being attached here, that if I tap on these keys back here, it's not going to do anything to the iPad. So you can still hold it like this, thumb type, etc., and you're not going to have any issues there. I didn't find myself using this more steep viewing angle where you can mount it up here, but I imagine it'll probably come in useful at some point. I don't think it's as much like a 50-50 split as maybe I thought when I saw the announcement. But this second notch here is pretty much your typical iPad keyboard mounted setup. So I'm really excited to make a whole bunch more videos about all things iPad Pro 11-inch. So let me know in the comments below if you have specific aspects of the iPad or apps or accessories or things that you want to hear more about. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss those videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.